We are literally in the middle of nowhere. Last weekend we had the opportunity to go to Strawberry. There were 4 things that really made this trip successful. Number 1 was that we just stayed so close to the lake that we could really fish any hour of the day or night and be just a few minutes away from a nice break at the lodge. Number 2 is that some random fisherman taught me this technique that works so well that it will forever change the way I fish at Strawberry Reservoir. Number 3, the Strawberry Bay shuttle service saved the day by taking us to water where no one else was fishing. Number 4 was that I could buy a replacement for everything I forgot at home at the Strawberry Bay store. After about a minute and a half of making you jealous of all the fish we caught, I'll show you exactly what we used, where we fished, and what we did to trick those fish into taking our lures.
Did you catch a fish?
How big was it?
Nice! Yeah, we're gonna have peanut butter and fish sandwiches.
Oh, you got it. Keep going. Is he big? Get through that hole. Yeah!
We got up to Strawberry at about 4:30 p.m. on Friday, and luckily we had the option of staying at the Strawberry Bay Lodge, which was really nice because we were literally staying right on the edge of the lake. So I've been ice fishing at Strawberry several times and I actually had no idea they even have a lodge that's open in the winter. So we're here at the lodge and we're just gonna get all settled in, probably have a nice dinner, and then I'm gonna get out on the ice at night while my wife and my sons just chill at the lodge. This is where we're gonna stay the night and get some ice fishing done right out there. It's like right outside the window. That's where I'm gonna go when it gets dark. This is cool. Guys, you wanna see upstairs? I guess they just remodeled this place over the summer. It actually looks a lot nicer than the pictures. So the night fishing was pretty slow on Friday night. I started out with trying these glow-in-the-dark jigs, which are pretty typical for Strawberry. They usually work pretty well. But for some reason, I don't know if it was the temperature drop, the fish were really shy and really reluctant to take anything big like this from what I found. So the next morning I woke up at about 4:30 to try some early morning fishing. Same thing, tried some glow-in-the-dark jigs, some curly tail jigs. Didn't have much success with those either. I literally tried everything from fishing in a few feet of water by the shore to going way out as far as I could walk and fishing in as deep of water as I could find. In fact, the fishing seemed really dismal. As I came back that morning and saw other fishermen, I started to ask around to see if anyone else was having success, and I found that the fishing was really slow for almost everyone. Luckily, and thanks to another fisherman, we found a technique that seems to work both night and day at Strawberry, even when the fishing is really tough. He was using a really small white jig, which was something I had thought of, but the part that I didn't think of was to tie one of these giant flashers about 18 inches above that little jig. So I tied one of these glow-in-the-dark flashers on, and about 18 to 24 inches below that I tied this little jig and tipped it with a worm or some power bait, and I decided to go out and try my luck with this new technique. The only problem was I didn't have any flashers with me, but thankfully the store at Strawberry Bay had some flashers there. In fact, I was actually really surprised to see how much they had there at the store. Not only could you rent or buy any ice fishing gear you'd ever need up there, you could literally go up there with nothing but your fishing license and still have everything you need to fish. But you could also rent snowmobiles and all the gear necessary to use them. I definitely wasn't going to go fishing in the areas I tried before, so I decided I'd try the Strawberry Bay shuttle service. My wife and my sons wanted to come with me, so we went over to the store, loaded up the snowmobiles, and they took us clear out in the middle of nowhere on the lake, probably to about 80 or 100 feet of water on the other side, and there was hardly a soul out there on that side of the lake.
What do you think, dude? Was that fun? He's like, no.
It turned out that fishing with the flasher and going out to where no one else was fishing in some really deep water made all the difference. I don't know if it was because the fish were way at the bottom because of the cold snap or what, but when we got out there, we really started to have success. It was actually my 2-year-old who figured out how to trick the fish into taking our jigs. And what he was doing was he had his flasher and his jig right at the bottom of the lake, and he started reeling in just as fast as he could. And I'm looking over at him like, that's not gonna work. But then I noticed the fish were following the flasher up to the top. And so we had them stop at about 15 feet of water. We could see through the ice, we could see the fish, and they were just barely poking at the jigs. The bites were super soft. We started to do our best to lure the fish up to the surface, and then we'd slow down and stop at about 15 feet of water when we saw those fish were following the flasher up. And then we just kind of jig really softly, and the fish would come at it and poke it and poke it and poke it. And then finally they would take it, and we only could tell they were taking it because we could see through the ice, and we'd set the hook, and that was what made all the difference. I gotta say, we really enjoyed spending the whole weekend up there at Strawberry Reservoir. The best part was being able to come right back to the lodge, which was just so close to the lake, and I actually had the chance to go out and fish like 4 or 5 different times. It was nice for my wife and kids because while they do like fishing, they're not quite as obsessed as I am. They don't like staying out there on the ice for hours on end, so they could fish for as long as they wanted and then go back to the lodge and take a rest while I kept going. Overall, I'd say the trip was definitely a success.